Yes! Huh. X1 and X2 are the first great wall of Justice Guy. So many people will die upon them. Maybe that's where it ends for a lot of players. Is this boss fight. Damn. Let me just make sure. Okay, I unmuted myself properly. Hooray! I not only practiced that fight, and I was recording in 5-minute chunks to see if I can get a clear within that time frame. That's good enough for me. One of those attempts was really long. I stand by what I said about they can kind of waste your time by staying at the top level, both of them at the same time. If at least one of them has to be on a lower level at all times, I think that would make the fight a little better. Yeah, it's still gonna be a easier, harder fight that takes a shorter or longer amount of time based on RNG, but at least you always have a way of dealing damage. So if you're a really good player, then the fight would just be more consistent. But I still love this fight. It's so good. I got interrupted last video by other thoughts. I meant to say that the icon on X1 and X2's life bar is also the icon for Justice Guy's executable and application. I wonder if they're proud of this fight. I guess the kid also uses guns, so maybe it makes sense that way. But yeah, not only did I beat X1 and X2, I also beat the next 3 levels and the next boss, and I'm way more confident that I got through it way faster than I expected to. It's such a great feeling to struggle so much with a game and then to replay it and just blaze through it like it's nothing. I suggest everyone replay Silk Song after you beat it for the first time. It's a lot of the same in regards to that. Anyway, Remains. I like how almost cheerful this area is. I think that part is designed for you to run through it really quick. And we have green tokens, which always point... Actually, I think they always point to the right. They send you blasting away in that direction. You can't turn around, you have to keep moving to the right until the duration expires, so something like that. Feels so good to be out of the woods. And if I'm quick enough, I can just about catch my my daily upload schedule. These levels are quite fun. There's some really tricky jumps in them. And when I got stuck on this level for a good 30 minutes, I felt that I should practice everything to ensure that these videos are not boring. How exactly did this go again? Yeah, you kind of want to go over them, then you'll have to fall through them, and once you're clear, then you use your double jump. I sort of nailed that and forgot how to do it. I hope that hasn't happened with other things. What was it here? Oh, right. Speaking of nailing things and hopefully being able to replicate them. Ah, I did that first try. Off camera. There we go. It's not that bad. Oh yeah, if the other character type has the same max jump height, he can make it through here, I guess. You just have to time your double jump correctly, even if it goes max height again. I'm still thinking about that, because it's kind of interesting. I just looked at my notes again, and I forgot. Which is why I'm writing them down. I have researched some I Want to Take the Time Machine, and I Want to Be the Best Guy. Time Machine, I now recognize that at least the final boss of the first I Want to Take the Time Machine appears in I Want to Kill the Camellia 3. So I immediately recognized that, I just had no idea it was from that game. And now I can confirm that Take the Time Machine and Best Guy each have their own separate dev teams. Influka is the lead on Time Machine, and Gustav on Best Guy. And this game is, I would assume, both teams and directors working together, which is pretty cool. Okay, this next part is... Since I know what to do, equip the rocket launcher, slide after you cross the second pillar here. The green pickups will kill soldiers because you're moving so fast, but tanks will still kill you if you crash into them. So you want to fire a rocket point blank at the tank to insta-kill it so you can keep moving as fast as possible. It's really silly, but I kind of love it. I think this is the hardest part in all three of these upcoming levels. I know exactly what to do, but it's not gonna make it any easier. I should not be firing without thinking. The cooldown of the rocket launcher is a big deal here. Speaking of knowing what to do, not making it any easier, what makes X1 and X2 so freaking hard? Like, yeah, I got stuck for decent amounts on previous bosses, because this might be the first fan game that I actually completed, which is kind of ridiculous now that I say it out loud. If you look at the difficulty rating on the Delicious Fruit forums, I really jumped into the deep end. But, the thing about the previous bosses is they might have a few nasty tricks, but once you figure them out, they become very easy. X1 and X2 never get easier. You could know everything they can do, but good luck predicting it, good luck adjusting to every minor variation moment to moment. Which also means that the fight is always exciting, so... Again, love those guys. Anyway, back to this. Why am I doing that? I can't even explain why. That right there, I need to grab the last green token because you need it. Before this, I think there are actually twice as many as you need, so you can miss one every once in a while. But right here, grab the last green token, double jump over the downwards pointing tokens, grab the blue token, and jump immediately. That's what I have to do. That right there is the hardest part, I think. Ah. Although it just sort of kills you, I like how these green beams are introduced here, because you have to figure out that you need to move fast enough to avoid them, and that you need the green tokens, and there's a checkpoint right here, so... It's not bad. Even though it looks kind of ridiculous, maybe. Ah. What am I doing? Yeah, that's... think I just need to focus here. Oh, so close. I think I might have pressed the jump button before I grabbed the last refresher token. Damn. Jumped too late. Didn't get enough height. If I grabbed the green, that might have worked. I love how mismatched the music is with the nonsense that I'm doing right now. Speaking of music... Damn! I'm so close. But speaking of music, I know that in the previous video during the levels, I think, there was music from Catch Me If You Can? Wasn't that a movie? That sounds familiar. The only reason I know this is because YouTube showed that the auto detection recognized that track. Thankfully no repercussions, but damn, I guess that's one of the risks. Maybe I am a little concerned what some of the later tracks will do, but I'm not monetized and I don't give a damn. I will show you the complete Justice Guy experience. It's mostly video game music anyway. I think I missed the refresher there. I wonder if these columns are specifically placed here as a guide for when the trigger point is crossed. That would be clever. It's a very common practice. One notable example I can think of is in Cave Story. If you know, you know, but there's one really precise jump required for true ending shenanigans, and there's a red mark on the floor right at the point where you need to jump. I think you can line up quotes sprite with it. That's definitely intentional. Something's off. Yeah, you need the green token or else the beams get you. I do not intend on ending a video during a level. I hope I don't struggle like this too much. Yes! Right around the time I felt it was getting tedious to watch. So these crystals are a major gimmick of this area. They are, let me just make sure. It's like when you hit the button for your elevator, assuming you have one in your building. You do it so instinctively that immediately after you forget if you've done it. That's what just happened to me with the checkpoint. Come on now. They're teleporters. Red crystals are exit points, blue crystals are entry points. And that's what I just ran through, so I gotta jump into this one. Now we have birds. I don't think they have armor, but they have enough life. Plus, they spawn based on trigger points, so you can just wait out the recovery of the rocket launcher. It's interesting how, in spite of the armor mechanic, there are instances where I just ignore it and do something else because it's more practical. And now here there was another one, yeah. They shoot these weird projectiles at you. I don't know what they are exactly. Oh, another thing to note, I saw a lot of familiar sprites in the Take the Time Machine and Best Guy games. Which is understandable, especially if they have a whole art team. Oh no, this eludes me. What's to the right of the screen border? I can't remember. Well, only one way to find out. It's the end of the level. That's why I couldn't remember anything else. Okay, that wasn't so bad. That was the worst of these. As pointed out by Metal Wolf ZX, I just remembered. Balanium, what with it being a aquatic warship shaped like sea life, is almost certainly inspired by the Darius shmup series. I do respect Darius, I just haven't played any of them yet. But it's interesting because the boss intro and the fact that you have a pilot and a ship that have separate names, that is inspired by Pro Gear, so it's like this cool fusion of shmup inspirations and then I Want to Be the Guy fan game. I appreciate the hell out of that. Okay, this is a bit similar. I don't know what the point of this checkpoint is. I'm pretty sure that if you die, you just respawn right here, right? Huh. Anyway. This is a pretty similar setup to the previous level, except there's a fight immediately after. There's not enough time to shoot both tanks on the path, so you shoot the first one and jump over the second one. Damn. But there should be enough time for me to fire another rocket there. I'm being stupid. That's incredibly fun. Great use of the moonwalk there, if you can do it. Look at that, an exit crystal right above a pit. I'm sure that's not gonna kill me later. Damn it. Last time the wall stopped me because I didn't get enough height and I managed to double back. But I think you're supposed to jump all the way to where the save point is. Oh well. I can't remember if this enemy is armored. I would assume so, but... wasn't quite right. Oh, damn. I didn't misdirect the gunfire in the right direction. I think the machine gun does a better job. That's strange. Huh. I guess I'll keep that in mind. How did I never notice before? I just didn't compare how fast each weapon does the job on that specific enemy. There we go. I love this setup. It's kind of silly, but here goes. You need to jump pretty much immediately after you enter the crystal there. Make sure you don't run into the birds, because you could go that high. Yeah, it's pretty easy to dodge them. They have a consistent timing for how they fire. Okay, this is a tough jump. I can't remember here. I think it might be possible to do it if the downwards token pushes you down. But I'm pretty sure I did it without touching that token at all. This is gonna take a few tries. Well, maybe it goes without saying, but almost every single one of these birds killed me the first time. Maybe if I jumped a bit sooner. Oh. There we go. Do not enter this crystal. Enough stuff happens between seeing the red one above the pit and this one that you might forget. I did the first time. But yeah, that'll kill you. It's devious. But this one won't. Because there's nowhere else to go, so you're bound to try it eventually. What was this? Right, this is that. And now I need to be very careful. Do I just go for it with the... I haven't done it this way. It should work, though. Yeah. I was using the machine gun, and... these are the non-solid tiles that block projectiles, but only your projectiles. So yeah, the shotgun is the way to go. I was doing this and jumping over their gunfire. It was terrible. Yes, this crystal is another trap. It's really mean. Yes! What was next? Oh, right. Right. I think this part is made so that you can sort of run through it with little to no resistance. So... here goes. Ah, I messed up a slide input. Because I think it's best to slide and then jump into the green token right after you fall past it. I never thought about it, but this crystal is suspicious. Is there a shortcut? This level is pretty linear otherwise, so there probably is. Ah, that was bad misalignment with the projectile. Yes. I started doing it like that just because that jump is tough and I was messing it up a lot. Yeah! Oh, it pays off to practice. If I wasn't talking so much, I might be getting S ranks on these. And 5-3 is not that bad, although it looks really confusing. It's just a bunch of combat, pretty much. I kind of enjoy it for some reason, though. Right, you just drop down onto a tank. I think that's what's supposed to happen, but if you go over here... Well, if you're up against the wall, you're still fine. I was in the exact worst spot. A little ceiling turret there, and they don't reuse it here. They have this thing instead. I believe I went to the blue crystal. So I didn't take the bottom path, but in the interest of saving time... I could always show off the other paths in the future. So this thing, which I think is supposed to be a giant maggot, has a lot of life. That's pretty much its defining feature. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have armor, so if you're at a distance, if these vines are in the way, use the machine gun. If you time it right up close, use the shotgun. About that. Is that actually an eagle? I didn't think about it, I just identified it as a miscellaneous bird and didn't give it a second thought. Ah. I get it, it serves as a meat shield for the troops. Yeah, when there isn't any armor, the rocket launcher's DPS is pretty terrible. And you're gonna get crowded out if you take too long to kill this thing, so... You can't mess around with that. Oh, right. I'm pretty sure I can cut to the chase there. And ah! That's not even a hard jump. What am I doing? Someone with more hours in fan games would never mess up that jump. Something I was reminded of during practice, the machine gun does actually have a limited range. The projectiles terminate past a certain point, which might be relevant soon. Okay, now. Oh, in this case, the green tokens are a trap. They're just going to kill you by shooting you into the vines. I always like it when devs do something like that. Hey, here's this element that's always helped you. Now it's going to kill you. Are you paying attention? I didn't go that way. I went this way. I think this level was easy because I took sort of a shortcut through it. I didn't remember this shortcut. Having the R key next to one of my weapon switch buttons is really stupid. Oh, I can see that backfiring real bad. Oh well. I have too much muscle memory now. It's gonna suck either way. That's some very precise placement of that tank. I quite like that. And that's also definitely intentional. I just used the rocket launcher, idiot. What was I doing dancing around in here? Huh. Oh, I think I touched the side. Oh, that explains what was happening to me sometimes with X1 and X2. I was wondering why I was dying to the tread trucks instead of bouncing off of them. Okay, was this safe? Yeah. I think that's to scare you. Oh, also that probably links the other path to this checkpoint. That's what that looks like. It is a confusing level. Right. Another instance of avoid the crystal. And then think fast. And maggot. I'm pretty sure the shotgun kills it significantly faster. That's nice, at least. Oh, I remember this because it's very devious. I saw these vines, right, and I planned out how I would jump over them. And then I went for it without paying attention to what comes next, and you can't really see it anyway. That's so mean. I think that particular sentry sees further just to make this trap work. Damn. Hopefully I don't mess that up again. As simple as the soldiers are, the projectiles are really, really fast. The one downside of this sentry's increased range is that I can also shoot it from a very long distance. So it kind of balances out. Okay, that's fine. At least I didn't run into the vines. That would be really stupid. So, this crystal is another trap. I forget where exactly it puts you, but there's something past it. It bobs up and down, which does actually move its hitbox. And here's a series of them. I don't think most devs would think to do something like this, but I quite like it. And that's it. I think that went pretty smoothly, all things considered. Now, unfortunately, I think this next boss is one of the worst in the game. Which is funny because I still really like it. It's just, even after all this time and all this experimentation, I feel like I'm at the mercy of RNG, and I'm not confident that every situation here can be survived. So let's see how it goes. Maybe I got lucky when I beat this boss during practice. I want to open with the shotgun. Ayla and Devalon. This is a bit of a change of pace from the mech bosses and the soldiers. This fight is very random. Ayla has a life bar, you can see it there beneath Devalon's life bar. Devalon is the one who has to die for the fight to end, basically. And yes, those are smaller versions of the maggots. Thankfully, they have less life, but they're part of the reason I think this fight might be unfair. Whenever you see an arrow pointing in from either edge of the screen, that indicates that a maggot has spawned and is about to move in. You basically need to make a beeline to kill it as soon as possible, because the way it overlaps with the other attacks, and Ayla and Devalon already have overlapping attacks. I think the difference between this fight and X1 and X2 is that that thing is really beefy, and many of the attacks that you're already dealing with are walls that make you die if you stand in an entire portion of the screen. So they force you to move, and if they force you to move into a dangerous area where you can't survive, you're probably gonna die. Here's something interesting. If I deplete Ayla's life, it does a lot of damage to Devalon. I want to say 900 or 800. And she gets stunned for a while, so she can't perform any attacks. And then she refills her life bar and you can do it again. So that's kind of neat. You can only really hit Devalon by shooting straight up in the middle of the screen. I think the machine gun's your best bet because he doesn't have armor, I think. So the rocket launcher stinks, the shotgun doesn't work, so yeah, those are your only options. But Ayla is low enough and has a large enough hurt box that you can use the shotgun to quickly deplete her life. I think you're actually better off depleting her life bar multiple times than shooting at Devalon. Shooting at Devalon is something you should probably do when you can't hit Ayla, or when you need to finish the boss fight, which is what I did in my practice attempt. What else do I want to say before I start focusing and being quiet? There was something else specific that I wanted to bring up. Oh, I guess it's just a thought. Maybe I wouldn't mind the maggots so much if they had a lot of armor and very little life. If you could kill them with one rocket and a little bit of machine gun fire or something like that. Then I could walk towards it with the machine gun, switch to the rocket launcher, and that way each of the three main weapons would see use in the fight. Just a thought. Yeah, if I stun Ayla at the right time, that should make the fight much more consistent and reasonable. I just can't always tell. I guess a good time is when a maggot spawns. Yeah. Okay, with all of that said, here goes. One reason I need to shut up is because of all of the disparate random elements in this fight, and attacks like that I need to pay a lot of attention to. Whenever that arrow appears on top of you, you need to slide and keep moving in one direction. If you slow down for even a moment, or you move in the wrong direction and then double back, you're dead. So that's pretty rough. There's a little bit of leeway, but not much. Yeah, those raining whatever they are. I've seen trees that have those in real life, but I forget what exactly they're called. They're randomized, which wouldn't be so bad if it weren't for everything else happening at the same time. Sure, why not? When you jump over the roots, you need to see which way they're going because they move in a wave. And your double jump is not enough if you just keep the same horizontal position. So you need to move against the wave so that you don't run into them on the way down. I think I'll just point out individual things whenever I die because of them. Maybe that's the way to go by now. This fight is definitely another big wall. Now this is where the crystals come into play. You need them to avoid that. Speaking of walls, that's a wall. Okay, that was good. 2 birds. I doubled back, that was terrible. It's because I wanted to move away from the green lasers and then realize, wait, Ayla's dashing. Oh no. I guess I'll take a slight pause to crack my knuckles and mention the music here is from Death Smiles, a cave shoot 'em up where you play as I think a bunch of witches in training and you're fighting off a demonic invasion. It's a very fun Halloween-y shmup, and I definitely want to play it. It's very appealing to me in many ways. And I think the boss itself is inspired by a boss from Death Smiles. There was a tree, like an evil tree, with fruit raining down from its branches. I don't think that's a coincidence. Especially with the music choice, right? Ah. I was about to do something cool there with the slide, but I messed it up. Oh no. You can see what a mess this fight could be. Well, yeah, that was messed up. I think the biggest problem is those maggots are random spawns. They might not show up at all. I think when I first beat this boss, I was struggling so much because I had no idea how to deal with them, and I got far just because they didn't appear. Not sure if I even picked up that that's what was happening. I went the wrong way there. That was close. It's a lot to keep track of. Whatever, I'll deal with you later. She was kind of out of the way there. Oh. That attack is very punishable with the shotgun. Oh, I crossed the halfway mark and it upgrades their attacks. I think the most noticeable changes are on Ayla. I think you can enter phase 2 by dealing 800 or 900 damage, whatever it was. So I need to keep an eye and make sure that the life is over 1500. And I want to enter phase 2 by knocking out Ayla. I think that's the way to go. I think that makes the fight way easier. I didn't think of that the first time. First time I played this game, that is. I do like that the level gimmick is a part of the boss fight. I think the RNG is a bigger con than the gimmick. Because thinking with portals during a boss fight is just really cool. And there are quite a few situations you can avoid. Damn. By just jumping into the blue crystal at the right time. That was really nasty. Well, this is immediately terrible. I think they should have refined this idea with the maggots and made it 100% consistent. Like every X number of attacks a maggot spawns, but you know, when it's not random, they have to balance it out. I think that's one thing about RNG, it sometimes lets developers... I don't know if it's the case here, but yeah. It occasionally lets developers say, ah, it's fine, it's not always a problem, so it's not a big problem because of the RNG. I think this happens a lot with roguelikes. So what if the game is trivial sometimes? That's not always going to happen. Whereas if there was an infinite combo in any non-roguelike, you could not get away with that as a developer, I think. Like, just imagine an action game where you can consistently trivialize the whole thing by infinitely abusing some mechanics. Yeah, that's really bad. If you're forced to jump into the blue crystal when the wave is like... If the wave of thorns was in the opposite direction, I would have been fine, but since it was in that direction, it followed me to the other crystal and killed me. I think that might be unavoidable under certain circumstances. It's unfortunate. Shooting her while she's stunned doesn't do anything. I think she's just meant to block your machine gun fire during that period. This is really dangerous now. Ah! It's such a simple attack, and I knew it would go all the way, but I forgot the speed. I think it's actually the same speed at which she crosses half the screen in phase 1. I think that's what threw me off. It's intuitive that it would take her twice as long if it's the entire screen, right? Yeah, that's the strategy almost executed correctly. If only I knocked her out before this moment. I'd have some peace to kill the, the maggot. Jumping to shoot her like that is dangerous, as you saw. Because the thorns happen fast enough that there's just nothing you can do about that if you're already midair. And that's another problem if you don't kill them in time and you're forced through the crystal. That's probably another unavoidable situation. I think I got lucky when I won. Oh, that was really nasty. Because I was thinking I could jump into the crystal, but then Ayla did that, so I would have been dead anyway. Oof. Yeah, this fight is... This fight is extremely questionable at best. It could be that I'm also missing something, though. I didn't do enough damage to her for that to work out. I also don't appreciate it when she gets in my way when I'm trying to do my chores. Leave me, I'm on maggot duty. Yeah, especially if she gets in your way. What are you supposed to do about that? Damn. Okay, a few more attempts. But I think you get the gist of it. I just need to pull it off. For the record, other fan games do have genuinely unfair bosses in them, where you can get walled off by RNG. So, relative to that, I wouldn't say this is horribly egregious, but it's still kind of bad. I mean, it's pretty bad. I'm just saying that because I still love this game, but... already. I should have just shot her with the machine gun. That was excessive. Excessive use of force. Oh no, she's doing that again. Maybe I could have salvaged that. I think I'll just punish this attack when she does it, and I'll otherwise shoot at Devalon until I reach the threshold. Oh no, not in phase 2. And thorns in the wrong direction. Ah. That is just despicable. Okay. Unfortunately, I think I need to farm RNG to beat this boss. I think this is my... I've heard that maybe there's something... Well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but there might be something else similarly unfair elsewhere in the game that I haven't seen yet. Maybe that's intriguing. But otherwise, everything past this point that I know of, up until the credits, is awesome and has no problems like this. So, this is the worst of the worst in terms of fairness, and everything else is going to be great. Now let's see how long this takes, because unlike X1 and X2, it might just be a matter of luck. Yeah, that'll be the start of the next part. Thank you for watching.